What's wrong with Halloween? Pumpkins, jack-o'-lanterns, black cats, witches? Halloween is not for Christians. 1. Christians should not partake in Halloween because of its source. The earliest recorded Halloween celebrations were those of the ancient pagan Druids in honor of Samhain, their god of the dead. The Druids were some of the most fierce of the Celtic peoples and observed November 1st as the beginning of winter and their new year. It was on the evening before the Druidic New Year, October 31st, that some of the most vile and wicked occultic practices were perpetuated. It was on this night that the Druids believed that Samhain gathered all the souls of those who had died in the past year to release them from the bodies of lower animals, usually cats, bats, frogs, goats, and other animals, commonly associated with the occult, to which they had been confined to atone for their sins. At this celebration, human sacrifices and drinking the blood of one's enemies were not uncommon. This practice continued until almost the end of the 6th century and as late as 1400 AD in Britain. Horses and cats were still being sacrificed at the Feast of Samhain. However, the main theme of Halloween, and you will find that almost every phrase of this occasion is somehow connected with Lucifer and Satanism. What about jack-o'-lantern, the apparently harmless lighting of the pumpkin face or jack-o'-lantern is an ancient symbol of a damned soul, named for a man who could not enter heaven or hell, but wandered about with his lantern. These hollowed pumpkins with scary faces and a candle inside were thought to frighten the evil spirit of Jack and thus protect the household from his evil pranks. Consider this also: the harmless act of dressing in a costume was first done by Druids in hopes of disguising themselves from the devil so that he could not do them any harm. It was thought that by dressing as a witch, ghost, skeleton, or such the like, the devil would be tricked into thinking they were soldiers in his army and thus leave them alone. And consider this: the trick-or-treating was first done by children going from house to house begging for food for the festivities of the pagan holiday. Even the colors associated with Halloween, black and orange, had an origin in paganism. It was thought that Satan feared the orange glow of a full harvest moon. Thus, those who wandered out on this magic evening were only brave if accompanied by the orange glow of the jack-o'-lantern, which frightened the devil away. Black, on the other hand, was thought to keep the devil from seeing the participant in this occasion. It was thought that if he could not see a person, he who was knowledgeable that Halloween is a night totally engulfed in Satanism, satanic rituals, and pagan heathen practices. And if this is not enough, Anton LaVey, the leader of the world Satanists, is quoted as saying, "I am indebted to the stupid fools, Christian parents, for allowing their children to join in the festive occasion of its unholy day of worship to our God. That alone ought to raise the hair on every Christian parent's arm. Everything about this night of spooks, ghosts, hobgoblins, witches has its roots in paganism, heathen customs, and the worship of the devil. Everything from the jack-o'-lantern to dressing in costumes on this night had a pure purpose in this wicked worship. Even with the arrival of Roman Catholicism in the British Isles, Catholic priests, anxious to make converts, assimilated many of the occultic practices of the Druids into the celebration of All Hallows Eve. It is obvious from its origin that true believers in Jesus Christ should not have nothing to do whatsoever with this night dedicated to the occult and pagan practices of an ancient heathen society. Number 2, Christians should not participate in Halloween because of its association with Satan and satanic practices. The first Christians in America did not observe Halloween because of its association with the dead, the devil, and demons. In fact, the Puritans banned the followers of the devil, considered Halloween to be their day of worship to their God. If for no other reason, any parent who loves their children as well as the God of heaven should have nothing at all to do with the activities of this evil ritual. Number 3, Christians should not participate in Halloween because of the scriptures. Regardless of what mama and daddy did when you were growing up, the scriptures are to take precedent in the lives of true Bible believers. And the scriptures prohibit the participation of God's people in anything that even hints of being occultic or pagan. Read Deuteronomy 18:9-13. When thou art come into the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee, thou shalt not learn to do after the abominations of those nations. There shall not be found among you any one that maketh his son or his daughter to pass through the fire, or that useth divination, or observer of times, or an enchanter, or a witch, or a charmer, or a consulter with familiar spirits, or a wizard, or a necromancer. For all that do these things are an abomination unto the Lord. And because of these abominations, the Lord thy God doth drive them out from before thee. Thou shalt be perfect with the Lord thy God. This explicitly forbids Christians to have anything to do with witchcraft, spiritism, or the demonic. Read Leviticus 19:31, Exodus 22:18, 1 Samuel 28:7-20, 1 Samuel 15:23. Any Christian parent who allows or encourages their children to participate in the festivities of Halloween is disobeying God's word and is as sure to bring the chastisement of God upon themselves as did this rebellious King Saul. Robert McCurry said, "It is at this point that many will say, but we don't worship demons on Halloween. It doesn't mean the same thing today as it did in the past. It's now just a harmless, innocent time of fun for the children and the young people." Yet history clearly shows that Halloween is unmistakably a religious, pagan, and Roman holiday. Religion is the adoration, obedience, and service rendered to the object of one's worship. It is indisputably clear that Halloween is not commanded or sanctioned by Jehovah God. Read 1 Thessalonians 5:22, Acts 19:18-19, and 1 Corinthians 10:31. Christians should not participate in Halloween, number 4, because of the safety. In these wicked days there has arisen a grave danger for those innocent children who are allowed to go trick-or-treating. There are many reports each year of candies, marshmallows, apples, etc. having razor blades, needles, or dope embedded in them. Unsuspecting children have been lured into the dens of dope pushers and child molesters and murderers on Halloween under the pretense of haunted houses and various activities. And some terribly naive parents are even allowing their children to unknowingly be a part of a communist and satanic organization. Many parents, thinking to help underprivileged children in third world countries, allow their children to solicit money for UNICEF, the United Nations, has long been a seedbed for communist activity and is helping prepare this world for the one world government of the Antichrist. Is Halloween for God's people? Clearly, unmistakably, it is not.